Hello and welcome. My name is Dr. David, and we will be talking about sleep and its importance to brain health. I want to say a big thank you to Dr. Jacqueline King for this opportunity. And as you know, we've been focused on brain health, dementia, and Black women in particular, and talking about why Black women have the highest risk for dementia of any other demographic in the United States. I know that's an that's that's not it's a dubious distinction, unfortunately, but it's something that you all have to deal with, and we have to know what is needed to be able to understand, recognize where the problems are, and how to mitigate or how to neutralize, how to compensate for those risk factors, so that you all can live a long, happy, healthy, meaningful, purposeful life and fulfill the purpose for which you were placed on this earth, right? So though it's bad news, it's also good news in that you are being equipped in all these webinars and these tutorials with some of the tools and the knowledge you need to be able to address your risk factors, improve the quality of your mind and your brain, and of course, avoid those pitfalls that make you more prone to getting dementia. So I know today's Valentine's Day, so I'm not expecting there to be a flood of people, but we've committed to doing this on a regular basis. So that's why we're on today. Thank you for joining us. I see some people coming in. If you're joining us, please go ahead and type your name and where you're logging in from, and we shall get started in a few minutes. So I'll just make sure everybody's the people who are going to join us. I want to make sure that you are recognized and that you don't miss anything. So we'll just leave a few minutes. The Power of Darkness is the title of our presentation today, and it's about the importance of sleep. And of course, you can't really have good quality sleep if you're sleeping in very bright lit rooms. In fact, you can't really have very good quality of sleep if you haven't any light at all. In other words, the light from the TV, even though it's off, your lamps, your nightstand lamps, the dark, whatever it is, even if there's light coming in through the curtains, all of these inhibit your brain's production of certain chemicals that help you have a good quality sleep. I know some people are like, no, I got to have my TV on. I got to have some kind of light, otherwise I won't be able to sleep. And I know maybe you've lived like that way for 50 plus years. But I'm telling you now, the brain wants what the brain wants. You know, you've heard the term like the heart wants what the heart wants. Same thing. The brain wants what the brain wants. And you cannot cheat nature. Now, you may be fortunate to have genes that are superb and maybe from a planet called Krypton, but for the vast majority of people, you cannot cheat nature. So there are certain things that your brain must have in order to be healthy, and one of those things is darkness. I see some more people have joined us. Please type your name. Let us know where you're calling in from. We'll welcome you, and we shall get into the presentation today. This will probably be less than 30 minutes. And of course, if you have any questions, go ahead and type them right in, and I will answer them. I see some thumbs up and a few hearts here. Hey, Cha and Cha and Ruby Simon. Welcome. Okay, so let's get into it. Why is sleep so important? Well, sleep is so important, and obviously we can't just do it too much justice. But sleep is important because of about 3 or 4 things. Now, it does a lot of other things, but the main things are memory, repair and recovery, detoxification. Doesn't happen any other time during any other time, but at night when you're asleep. And number 4 is emotional regulation. In other words, it's very important. If you've had very high emotional stress, proper sleep can help to mitigate and to take the sting of that emotional stress that you've had during the day. So emotional regulation, it helps to calm things down. It helps to take the sting off. Maybe you've somebody has said a bad word or said some nasty things to you during the day. Sleep actually helps to calm things down. Hey Ruby, thanks for joining us. It does a lot of other things as well, but those are the 3 or 4 things I really want to focus on. And I got to tell you, the reason why I'm even talking about sleep tonight is that last night I disobeyed my own rules. Because one of the rules is that sleep in a dark place and sleep with a sleep mask. So it's not just the place should be dark, but ensure that you have total darkness by sleeping with a sleep mask. I didn't do any of that, and my lights were on full. Usually I'll dim the lights at night, but they were on full beam. So I woke up in the morning and I was like, darn it, I've done the wrong thing. I'm a hypocrite, a big time hypocrite for doing the wrong thing. Anyway, so that's one of the reasons why I'm talking about sleep tonight today, because it builds over time. You break that rule today, you break that rule tomorrow, you lax, and over time, these problems begin to compound, and you can't just buy back the sleep, or you can't sleep 24, 48 hours to compensate for all the hours you missed. So it's important that each day you fight for good quality sleep. We all know, I hope, that the ideal sleep time is 7 to 8 hours at night or 7 to 9 hours a night. Now, when I say this in many settings, they just laugh at me. They're like, I've never had 7 hours sleep in my entire life. I actually had one Uber driver tell me this. I think he was a migrant from Bangladesh or somewhere. And I was talking to him about the importance of basically what I'm talking about tonight. And he's like, okay, how many hours do I need to sleep? And like 7 to 8 hours. I mean, he laughed at me. Same thing when I go, I'm ex-military myself. I served in the army. When I speak at military conferences and I talk about this, they laugh at you. They're like, who's going to do that? Especially those who are on deployment in the battlefront. Who's going to sleep for 7 hours? Who's going to give them that kind of luxury? If you sleep that long, you're going to get killed. And so the important thing is that you want to ensure that no matter how long you sleep, you want to have high quality sleep. You want to make the most of the sleep quality you have. So if you have about 4 hours of sleep, I pray that doesn't happen every single time. But if that's what you have, then that's what you've got, and that you have to make the most of it. I'm going to just take a few steps back now and say, sleep is one of the 12 pathways, or the lack of sleep is one of the 12 pathways to dementia. If you are on any of our programs, I talked about Dementia's Dirty Dozen. If you haven't seen it here, I think it's on our YouTube channel where we go through each piece. There are 12 of them. They all start with the letter I. And so insomnia, insomnia starts with the letter I. Insomnia stands for lack of sleep, and I would expand that to mean improper or interrupted sleep or inadequate sleep. So insomnia could include, is an umbrella term. We're using it as an umbrella term to include sleep that is below 7 hours a day. Or it could include sleep that is interrupted during the night, waking up at 2 o'clock. That seems to be a very common time for many people. They fall asleep early, but by 2 o'clock, boom, they're wide awake. Then there are others who have sleep apnea, or they snore a lot, and that's as a result of tissue, their throat just falling back on itself, and it's blocking the nasal passages. So then they're not able to inhale and exhale like they should. And many times they don't notice it. It's maybe their spouse who says you're snoring loudly or whatever. Happens to us when we turn 50. I mean, it's just or even younger than that. So insomnia refers to all those things that show that the quality of your sleep is not optimal. Again, what we're trying to do is to compensate and maximize your sleep. All right, what are the things that we need to do? Obviously, if you're dealing with sleep apnea, it's a very dangerous situation because it can lead to cardiovascular disease, it can lead to strokes, one of the cardiovascular diseases it can lead to is atrial fibrillation, where the heart's regular rhythm becomes dysregulated and is beating haphazardly, not beating in the regular rhythm that it's supposed to do. lub dub 60 to 100 times a minute. So that is a problem. That can be a problem. So, and again, that's sleep apnea can cause atrial fibrillation. It can cause strokes. It can actually cause things like diabetes, blood sugar dysregulation, and so on and so forth. So you don't, and of course, dementia. So you don't want to mess around with sleep apnea. If you have any concern about it, please go and see your doctor so that they can diagnose it and they can prescribe something to help you with your sleep. Um, the other thing would be so we have sleep apnea, we got insomnia, or when people wake up at night. This happens again. I'm sorry, ladies, but it happens with ladies as well. Your sleep quality is simply not as good as men's sleep quality. Especially when you pass that menopause time, when you're postmenopausal. Yes, it's a problem, but in general, even younger ladies, we see a lot of these issues. The sleep doctors who talk about it, the women in general just don't sleep as well. Part of it is childbirth. They're so used to being interrupted by your child's crying for help, crying for food, and then of course emotional areas as well. And I know, I got to be careful here, but women tend to process emotional stresses differently than men, and they tend to keep things in. You all tend to tend to be more affected by emotional stress. You seem to be more emotionally charged over certain things. You tend to hold on to things a little longer than men do. And sometimes that shows up when you wake up. Maybe you've had a fight during the day with your spouse or your loved one or your significant other, and then that thing is just rolling and rolling and rolling in your mind. And then you wake up, boom, 2 a.m. in the morning, and it's like you want to continue the fight or the argument. Meanwhile, the other person is fast asleep. So, and then it goes on and on. Bottom line is that you have to be aware that sleep quality can be a problem amongst women, and you have to look out for it. And so we're going to talk about some of the things. As you know, I'm very, very big on nutritional supplementation because, quite frankly, it doesn't matter as much as the news media and other doctors might want to tell you you don't need to take supplements. It's simply not based on science anymore. We are simply not getting enough of the right kind of nutrients for our brains, especially, and of course for our bodies as well. But as you know, we are concerned about our brains. Our brains are simply not getting. Oh, what happened? Am I still on? It looks like I'm frozen. Poof, man, what happened just now? Can you type something and let me know if you're still receiving? Because it looks like my screen is frozen. Can you type something in, please, if you don't mind? Let me know if you're seeing my. Am I moving or am I? It doesn't seem like you guys can hear me either. Oh. Okay, let's see. Talk now. Get back on. Okay. Oh. All right, take it. Yeah, I'm frozen. Yeah, I know. Okay, so can you hear me? Okay. Okay, so you can hear me. Okay. Gosh. All right. So I'll probably have to. Okay. Let me just. So somebody says they can hear me, but I'm frozen. So if you can hear me, I'm going to keep going, and then probably wrap this up. All right. So I'm just going to say a few things that you need to know about. So I've already mentioned sleep mask. It's important you have a sleep mask. By sleep masks, I'm not talking about those contraptions that people put on their faces, on their mouths. I'm talking about those simple things you get on the airplane. So the airplane, if you're flying, especially if you're flying international, They give you the sleep mask to cover your eyes to create darkness, the sense of darkness. That, in my opinion, is the most important sleep hack you can have. Have that cover your eyes because your brain needs darkness. If it senses any, even if it's a flicker of light, it's not going to um, it's not going to go through the stages of sleep like it needs to, and it's not going to fix itself. We're talking about repair, memory consolidation, detoxification. It will not do those things as well as it should if there's light around you. Even if you, let's say you fall asleep in darkness, let's say it's dark, and then suddenly maybe your sleep mask comes off, or there's a flood of light for whatever reason. That even though you were fast asleep, the light coming in and your brain will sense it. It's still going to affect your sleep. So you must make sleeping in darkness a priority. Yes, there should be less noise and less the temperature should be a lot 68 degrees or below, because colder temperatures during sleep is good for the brain and the body. So that's number one. Number two, I would certainly recommend that you if you can, take a shower, a hot shower, cold shower, whatever. Hot shower helps you relax better. It helps blood flow better. Brush your teeth. We need to brush our teeth twice a day. Many people don't emphasize it like it should. And if you possibly can, floss as well to get all those particles and all that junk out of your out of your mouth. Because trust me, those things stay in there. Bacteria is going to act on it. Bacteria are going to act on it, and they're going to cause fermentation and all this junk and all this toxins to be in your gum and your teeth. So ideally, you want to brush your teeth and floss before you go to bed. And when you do those things, when you take your shower and have a nice bath and really wind down properly, and you sleep, even if it's just 4 hours of sleep, it shouldn't be, but even if it's just 4 hours or 5 hours of sleep, when you wake up in the morning, you're going to feel a lot more refreshed. So sleep mask, brush your teeth, have a nice bath, sleep on a nice bed, clean sheets, and of course bring the temperature down. You don't want to sleep in warm temperatures. And the last thing, food. Ideally, you shouldn't eat like 3 hours before you go to bed, because that's creates a burden. When you eat, the body has to digest the food, so that takes away energy, takes away resources from what the brain needs to do its work. It's just a burden that you shouldn't be dealing with. If you must eat something light, not sugary. Please don't eat nothing sugary 2 to 3 hours before, because that spikes your blood sugar. And when your blood sugar is spiked, it also spikes your insulin levels. And some people, when they wake up at night and they check their blood sugar levels with their continuous glucose monitoring devices, they find that their blood sugar levels have dipped to dangerous levels, way below what it should be. So because of that, insulin is trying to drive it down. So you just don't want to play around with sugar. If you want to take something at night, what I do is I take a fiber powder supplement, which I pour in water and I put with vitamin C, and I take vitamin D before I go to bed. So all these combined help me have a good quality sleep, and when I wake up, I feel refreshed. So don't eat at nights. Instead, what I would recommend, as I said, is a powder. I take powder. I also take a probiotic as well. I also take vitamin D, because vitamin D is good for sleep, and vitamin C is good for sleep. The other things that can help with sleep are magnesium and zinc. And of course, the B vitamins. And I have to be careful, because some people are super, super sensitive to vitamin B, especially vitamin B12, which gives energy. So you might want to play around with things a little bit. I take a formulation that has all the B complex vitamins. It doesn't bother me in the least. For some people, it does. So you want to watch out for that. The things that I want to say it one more time before I move away from this. If you are waking up at night, especially at 2 a.m., which is the commonest time, it's usually as a result of stress, some underlying stress going on in your body, your mind, something you're thinking about, something that's bothering you. And it's if there's stress, it means that there's some degree of cortisol, which is the stress hormone. So cortisol tends to wake you up at that, and it's usually 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. So I would strongly recommend. That you take vitamin D. Vitamin D is helps you sleep, helps you go through the stages, the phases of sleep. So vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, and magnesium. If you're not sleeping well, you're usually going to be deficient in one or more of those things. And you don't, quite frankly, you may not need to test them, or you might just need to take a little bit of each, and just take the normal recommended doses and see how that helps. All right. So finally, I want to talk about the stages of sleep. Have I talked about the relationship between sleep and brain health? I guess I have, but I also mentioned that insomnia, lack of proper sleep, can lead to dementia. As a matter of fact, what they're finding out is that before you have the plaques, before you have the damage in the brain, people who go ahead and develop dementia already have problems with the sleep center in the brain. The sleep center in the brain has been sort of not, I wouldn't say the word damaged, but it's deteriorated to some degree from whatever reason. Again, we talk about the 12 pathways to dementia. Dementia is dirty dozen. So they found out that problems in the sleep centers of the brain can eventually lead to problems in the memory centers and overall brain function, leading to dementia. So it's critical. It's critical that we support our sleep. Absolutely critical. If melatonin is, of course, the sleep hormone everybody talks about. If you need to take melatonin, get it. Doesn't need a prescription, but talk to your doctor about it. It's so important to do whatever whatever you need to do to salvage and get the best quality sleep you possibly can. Brush your teeth, take your bath, take a shower before you go to bed. Take vitamin D, take vitamin C, zinc, and of course the prebiotic, which is psyllium husk fiber. What it does, it helps to feed the good bacteria. It doesn't feed you, but it feeds the good bacteria, and then the good bacteria in your guts, in turn, now produce chemicals that are absolutely critical and healthy to the brain. So there you have it from us about sleep. I hope this has served. I am sorry about the problem with this freezing. This has never happened to me before, so I'm really kind of shocked. Do you have any questions for me before we shut this thing down? If you have, please go ahead and type them down so we can address them, and then we can move on. All right. Any questions? Any takers? Any takers? All right. Well, it doesn't seem like anything is. Doesn't seem like any questions. So I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day. God bless. Take care. Bye.